Hello and Happy New Year. My name is Moshe Heller from Moshen Herbs, and I'm happy to talk about today about supporting the immune system with Chinese medicine during the winter months. Um, so let's move to the slides so we can start discussing. Today I'm going to talk about, as I said, supporting the immune system with Chinese medicine. Um, this is a subject that has been on my mind because in my office I see a lot of patients who are sick, um, and I always have this, call saying, "Oh, I'm feeling under the weather. I think I want to cancel my appointment." And we hear that a lot. That people say, "Oh, it's just a little bit of a cold, but maybe I'll wait and see how it's going." So I make it a really important aspect to, or important point to educate my patients that it is actually very important time to either comfort treatment if acupuncture is possible to give, but if not, the minimum is to take some herbs because this is the beginning of any pathogenic influence attack is the time to treat it. So, super important to teach our patients that it is important to support the body at the beginning of any cold, um, uh, whether it's a flu or any other illnesses that start with signs of a cold. So I also wanted to kind of remind everybody that when I discuss a lot of times the immune system, I tend to point out the importance between our neurogastro and immune relationship. There's a triad that is really important to pay attention to. So when we look at the immune system, we also need to uh, so, um, take care of the gastrointestinal system as well as the neurological system because they influence one another and they are connected. So making sure that in terms of the digestive system you're supporting it with the correct nutrition and correct foods, as well as maybe the making sure that the biome is being supported also. And in terms of our neurological system, making sure that we are able to sleep well, relax, and not be overstressed or influenced by affecting the creating a sort of a hyperactive neurological system because of environmental issues. Um, in Chinese medicine, we see that neurogastroimmune complex so clearly when we look at the production of qi and blood in the theory about that everything comes from the middle burner, the spleen and stomach receive food and digestion, and they also um, then they transform that into what we call Gucci, and the Gucci then connects with our with either the lung qi or the clear qi of the lung, and produces the wei qi and the also the yin qi. Then that further connects to the heart, and in the process of making blood, and in that connection with the heart, I think is the connection to our neurological system and our brain, right? The relationship between mind, brain, and the heart is very clear. So again, we have this kind of neurogastroimmune connection that we always need to remember when we are addressing issues of the immune system. So I want to discuss in this idea in two aspects. One is the process of setting or supporting prevention before we get sick. Before we get sick. So when we have when we are not sick and we want to prevent us from being sick, we think of a formula a classical formula called Yu Ping Feng San. I sort of created a different version of that, and in Motion Herbs we sell it as a shield. So this formula is based on Yu Ping Feng San, but added some other aspects, which we'll see in a bit, to or support the immune system as a preventative for for having for not getting sick. So I just want to make sure that it's clear that sometimes we need to take, if we see a patient that has a weak Wei Qi, or a weakness between the Wei Qi and the Ying Qi, it is also important that we continuously give Yuping Feng San or shield for at least 3 months, a 3 months period. It's a formula that takes a while to sort of sink in. And so it's, even if you get sick in that period of time, I usually combine the shield with other formulas, which we'll discuss in a second. I also classically, Yin Chao San is sometimes used in low dosages as a preventative, also for um, people with stronger constitution. And Xiao Chai Hu Tang also is sometimes used as a preventative, especially if some patients who have a weaker immune system, which we are concerned that had in the past a lingering pathogenic factor, and we want to make sure that the Shaoyang level is harmonized and working well. So here's the shield. I want to take a few seconds to talk about the shield formula because it is based on Yu Ping Feng San, but I actually combined it with the two emperor herbs of Guijitang. Um, and so together, these formulas strengthen the exterior, but also harmonize the function between the Wei and the Yin Qi. And so if an encounter with a pathogen happens, the body is able to resolve it quickly. So it doesn't stop you from being sick completely, but it supports your immune system or your Wei Qi and Ying Qi function to resolve the pathogen effectively and quickly. So I also added another aspect into this formula. I wanted to make sure that the chi transformation is complete. So I added the two cured decoction or urchin tang, which is another two herbs, banxian, chenpi. Those help the transformation of dampness, and therefore um, support the normal functioning of the spleen. Um, I also added some more support with Taisi Shen, which is sometimes called Prince Ginseng. It's would allow the formula to be also a chi and supportive or strengthening, but really appropriate for children. It's not as warm as, and it's more even than having actual Renshin. I added another herb for supporting the immune system, or consolidating the exterior and bringing the kidney support to the lung with Wu Wei Zi, to strengthen that function. And I also last thing I added is Guggen for supporting the muscle layer and also the digestion, and Linger is an adaptogenic mushroom to support the immune system. So Shield is really a beautiful formula and used for a wide variety of issues surrounding immune imbalances, from tendency to allergies to weakened immune system, and as a preventative for the cold and flu season. So again, just to summarize, Yu Ping Feng San is this combination of Huang Qi, Bai Zu, and Fang Feng. Then I added Tai Zi Shen to that. From Gui Jitang, I added Bai Shao and Gui Zhi. Gegen and Jin Yinhua are here to support the muscle layer, and Chen Tang. This is we used Ban Xia and Fu Ling, and added these two herbs of Wu Wei Zhi and Lingzi. So when we think of acupuncture point selection, of course we have stomach 36. Who doesn't know that? That's usually for when we're trying to support the immune system. Better to use with moxa. UB12 is maybe another point that we don't think so much about, but is really important for prevention. It is sort of like the back shoe of wind, and it's really helpful as a preventative. Then making sure that the qi is circulating with large intestine 4 and lung 7, stomach 36, and ren 6. This is an overall qi tonification and support of circulation of wei qi. And then also, of course, advising people to avoid phlegm-producing food, milk, dairy, fried food, spicy food, in moderation only. These are really important aspects to support or prevent being sick, and also balancing your life between rest and activity. These are all important things. But when we have a pathogenic influence, then we need to consider some other points, and it all depends on the signs and symptoms of the patient that's presenting. So sometimes if there's more heat, we'll need to use points that relieve heat, like do 14 and large intestine 11 rather than 4. When we have more cold, we might need to use lung 7 and large intestine 4 to relieve the exterior, and gallbladder 20 to help relieve the wind, and triple burner 5. We can also consider using cupping, and again, the same thing for preventing, avoiding phlegm-producing foods, and which is milk products, wheat products, and fried foods, spicy food. All of that should be reduced or avoided. And of course, drinking warm soups are very helpful for supporting the immune system and from the center. The formulas that we might consider: Yin Chao San is for wind heat in the exterior. Sang Ju Yin is also for wind heat, but when cough is added in Yin Chao San, you will have a little bit of sore throat. Gui Tang is when there is a little bit of that kind of imbalance between the yin and the wei, so there'll be cold symptoms, but the disease might seem to be a little more lingering. Ganmao Ling is a patent medicine that is made for, I think the main symptom that I usually look for Ganmao Ling is a sore throat, because it has some really herbs that clear heat and toxins, and are specific for the throat. And also, Xiao Qing Lung Tang is when we have cough and a lot of cold phlegm. So these are example formulas. When we have formulas for when we have formulas for a pathogenic influence, this is a continuation. We might need to use Chai Tang if it is penetrated the middle layer or the Xiaoyang level. We sometimes need to support with oh, oh, support the resolution of phlegm. Just to clarify, now these are the formulas that I'm talking about are formulas that help to recover from a pathogenic influence. So sometimes we have patients that come in and they had a cold or a flu and they're still not 100% clear. This is really important aspect that needs to be addressed because we need to clear the pathogenic influence, and sometimes the residual from the pathogenic influence is usually or could be phlegm and dampness, which can linger, and we want to help the body kind of support resolving that completely. So these are formulas that we might consider for that. Xiao Chai Hu Tang is one of them when the pathogen is lingering in the middle level. Urchin tongue if there's too much or residual phlegm. Ban Xiaohu Potang is when there's phlegm and it's really stuck in the throat, right? It's like the plumpet formula. Shenling Baizusan is the formula when we have dampness in the spleen in the center, and Bao Hewan Jiajian, or a variation of Bao Hewan when we have residual issues with digestion or with the digestive system. So these are the formulas for recovering. So thank you for listening. I hope this little short talk helped you understand how to maneuver or look at formulas from different formulas to support the immune system during these winter months where we have a lot of the patients coming with these kinds of issues.